When you hear of disturbing websites, you might think of runthegauntlet.org, lhohq.info, or maybe even penisland.net, though in this video we'll be taking a look at darker, lesser-known websites you've probably never heard of before. So grab a cold one and maybe put on a diaper, because these are some of the most disturbing websites from across the internet. Horselaugh.com is a pretty damn weird one. Just clicking on the website brings you to an index of files. The first file, named 1417BR Orbs, has videos of a girl on a bed sleeping in a square tiled room. Sometimes the door swings open and closed randomly. In one of the videos, something is seen moving outside of the door. I'm not entirely sure if that's a person or something like hanging clothes that swung into the doorway. Now, why is this file titled 1417BR Orbs? Well, the orbs part likely comes from the dust particles seen floating past the camera, and if like me, you grew up watching paranormal shows like Ghost Adventures.
Stop! Wait till I ask a question. Irene, can you come over and play with my balls? Once for yes, two for no.
Was this spirit being a smartass?
You'd probably know how so-called paranormal investigators believe that orbs are the manifestation of ghostly entities and things like that. The other part, 1417BR, is the only thing that I'm unsure of because of how vague it is. The videos themselves are just odd. They're broken up into 8 separate 1-minute clips from the same night and same original source. Another link on the hub of Horselaugh.com takes you to a page discussing autism, including a brief history, current status, symptomatic commonalities, and molecular commonalities. This page in particular could be completely random and have zero relation to the rest of the website, or it could have something to do with the girl sleeping on the previous page. If the latter is true, the video could be footage of a sleep study involving children with autism. With the timestamps on screen, it would have to be taking place in early March of 2023. As a quick side note, using the Wayback Machine, the first real links added to Horselaugh.com were back in August of 2004 of 2 old-ass photos. The links include GAR-CSA 25th Reunion, which explains the time period of these pictures. GAR stands for Grand Army of the Republic. CSA is the Confederate States of America. The link for the photos was later changed to read Gettysburg Reunion Northside and Southside, leading me to believe these pictures were taken in 1888, during the 25th anniversary reunion of the Battle of Gettysburg. There are other links that existed back around the origins of some of the pages that are still visible now, though they're mostly just domain issues and photos that don't load anymore. Going back to the index main page, one link takes you to what feels like a blog post describing a family's road trip to California in 2007. It's a total yap fest, so I won't be reading, well, any of it now, but there is one interesting aspect of this story. It seems to be written from the perspective of the wife of Dan. And after a bit of hardcore investigating, you'll learn that the owner of the website is Dan J. As I'm recording this website was only found a few days ago and posted about on Reddit. There might be a connection to the Mormon Church and the Vallow Daybell Doomsday murders, though I'm not confident enough in those theories yet to really get into it all, considering, again, this website is still relatively fresh, at least in the online community looking into it. I'd also rather not dox or unintentionally lie about the owner of Horselaugh.com. If and when new information comes out about this website, I'll leave a pinned comment about whatever it is. Though as of now, it's just an odd site with videos of a random girl sleeping in a dark room, a blog post from 2007, and information on autism. Let me know what you think this is all about in the comments below. deathandhell.com is a website created by a man who, at the time, claimed to be approaching death. So he spent the last 18 months of his life putting together the keys to death and hell. The man in question goes by Infek bin Laden, which, if I had to guess, was probably not his real name.
This site was created in 2001, and the homepage gives some background to Infect's life. He talks about his love, Andrea, his daughter, and his sister, who all taught him something different and special about life. Things get much darker when you click the enter button at the bottom of the page. It takes you to an image of a skull with blood and mold around the edges. When you click again, it redirects you to a new homepage or hub with tons of links and pictures around an image of a pentagram with the words, "The Keys to Death and Hell." Each picture takes you to a different page filled with either more images or articles written by Infect describing extremely disturbing topics. He talks about satanic rituals, necrophilia, and much, much more. There are photos of what I think are real dead, as well as pictures you'd probably see in an anatomy class. Most of the articles Infect writes, actually no, all of the articles he writes are in complete Japanese. It's all just incoherent ramblings of an old man slowly losing the small amount of time he had left. When you click on one of the pictures with a man's face titled Infect Bin Laden, you get taken to yet another image of whatever the hell this is. Click again and you get greeted with a guy just chilling. One more click takes you to another page with multiple links, all taking you to art and photos of random people. Now, interestingly enough, there are photos of Infect with other people, and it's the same guy in images shown previously, leading me to believe this site is genuinely the work of somebody on their deathbed. Obviously, aside from the extreme stuff that he puts on this website, it is kinda sad. He was very much into the occult and was pretty edgy, though seeing someone post things that to me seem like incoherent ramblings while at the finish line of their life seems pretty sad. Especially when there are various photos taken throughout his life of people important to him laid out on some parts of this site. I'd show more, but I'm really not joking when I say that 99% of the things on this site would not be allowed on YouTube. Renberry.com was a website for an Australian animal shelter that took in both dogs and cats for a variety of reasons. Though eventually, after many years of operating, people in the community would come to realize that this shelter was hiding a dark secret. Renberry Farm is a private boarding kennel and cattery, providing a caring environment in Sydney with comfortable facilities that allow for the best care while you're away. Your pet is in safe hands at Renberry Farm. Over the years, people both online and in the local area began to speak up about disturbing things happening behind the walls of Renberry Farm. I took my dog there last year as suggested from my vet. The dog lost 20% of his weight in 10 days and came back with a very bad cough. I had to take him back to the vet for antibiotics and pay, of course, the visit and antibiotics as well. They never advised that the dog was sick, neither they cured him. Both the vet and them never followed up on the issue. Very disappointing. I hope this helps someone. This was just one documented complaint of alleged abuse that would seem to be common for the shelter. In 2014, a dog, Jeannie, that was being held at Renberry Farm, was meant to be taken to a vet, though when the rescue organization showed up to take her, Renberry staff straight up denied them. Jeannie needed urgent help due to a bladder and kidney issue, though Renberry would continue to deny intervention. After 2 weeks, the rescue organization was finally allowed to take Jeannie, though sadly it would be too late, and she would pass away that week. Another allegation made towards Renberry detailed a time when a cat who had just given birth to 3 kittens bit a staff member while being moved into a crate, and just because of that single bite, she was put down, leaving those 3 newborn kittens without a mother. It was also alleged that the shelter staff was seen leaving a dog in a locked car in extremely hot weather. There are so many more instances of abuse that took place behind the walls of Renberry Farm, though of course, workers and even the owner continuously denied any wrongdoing.
In early 2016, a Change.org petition would take off, detailing allegations that Wrenberry Farm euthanized over 20 healthy cats and kittens for seemingly no reason. The petition starter, James Barone, demanded for an independent audit into the shelter, listing things to be investigated and definitely improved if it were to continue operating, including staff training, hygiene, transparency, vet care, cameras, and much more. Soon, the petition had over 9,000 supporters. Some came out online to defend the shelter, while much more people came out to add their own stories to the ever-growing flame. Not much is known about the audit, if it even actually happened. I'm not even sure if there were any repercussions for the blatant neglect and abuse that took place. What we do know is that Wrenberry Farm shut down soon after, and hundreds, if not thousands, of cats and dogs were probably spared inhumane treatment that seemed to be common inside that animal shelter. The website was taken down after Wrenberry Farm closed, however you can still visit it on the Wayback Machine, allowing you to see what many pet owners saw before unknowingly sending their dog or cat to a place that had little care in the world for the well-being of their animals. martinmanley.eprci.com is a website that is quite literally the final thoughts and, well, suicide notes of Martin Manley. Martin was a sports writer and reporter who decided to end his own life in 2013, on his 60th birthday, for reasons that he discusses on the website. He prefaces and makes it clear that he didn't necessarily want to end it all, he just preferred having control over when it actually happened, considering death is inevitable. He wanted to be remembered for years and years after death and created this website to write his own biography, detailing things he wanted people to read. Martin had no underlying illnesses, legal issues, money problems, or really anything that might influence someone to Hannah Baker themselves. He just wanted to have one of the most organized goodbyes in recorded history. Throughout the website, he talks about other topics like marriage, religion, gambling, and even 9/11 conspiracy theories. No, he didn't believe in any conspiracies surrounding 9/11, he just rants about how they're all nincompoops. Martin, on one page, explains how he plans to do it. He mentions how he didn't want anybody untrained to handle that sort of thing and find him, so he ultimately decided to do it in close proximity to a police station in his area. And, well, he followed his plan. At 5 a.m. on August 13th of 2013, on his 60th birthday, Martin Manley called 911 to report a suicide. Then he shot himself in the parking lot of a police station in Kansas. 11 years later, his website is still mostly there. The original was taken down and eventually put back up, though without some of the previous designs and layouts. In the end, Martin Manley got his wish, a thoroughly detailed website of his own life, ideas, and hopes for the world, left behind as part of his legacy to be seen by viewers online for years and years to come.